Okay, let's dive into this explainer. We've all been there, right? Moving is absolute chaos. Between the boxes, forwarding your mail, setting up new services, things just inevitably slip through the cracks. But what if one of those things was actually your own cash? Today, we're going to walk through exactly how you can track down and claim old utility deposits just sitting around in the state of Michigan. Think back for a second. Have you ever forgotten about the money you left with a utility company a long time ago? It happens way more than you'd think. When you open a new account for gas, water, or electricity, especially if you don't have a massive credit history, they usually hit you with a security deposit. Most of us, we just pay it and completely forget about it. But if you move out and there's a credit left on your final bill, that money doesn't just vanish into thin air. It's still yours. And guys, we're not talking about couch change here. The Michigan Department of Treasury is currently holding over $2 billion in unclaimed property. $2 billion with a B. It's literally a massive statewide treasure chest just waiting to be opened. And a huge chunk of that, it comes directly from forgotten utility deposits, overpayments, and uncashed refund checks that people simply walked away from without even realizing it. So here's the roadmap for our treasure hunt today. 1. Forgotten utility deposits explained. 2. Searching Michigan's unclaimed property. 3. Gathering your required documentation. 4. Handling complex claim scenarios. And 5. Timelines, fees, and scams. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Forgotten Utility Deposits Explained. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would a utility company hand your money over to the government instead of just pocketing it? Well, consumer protection laws. Under Michigan's Uniform Unclaimed Property Act, businesses can't just absorb your forgotten cash into their profit margins. They have to stick to what's called a dormancy period. That's just the legal time frame a business can hold an inactive account. For general credit balances, that period is 3 years. But for utility security deposits specifically, the dormancy period is incredibly short. It's literally just one single year of inactivity before they have to hand it over to the state. So here's the actual journey your money takes. The utility provider is really just a temporary holder. They hang on to your deposit briefly, trying to return it to you. But if they can't find you, maybe, you forgot to leave a forwarding address, they are legally required to transfer those funds straight to the Michigan Treasury. And once it's there, the state acts as the ultimate custodian in perpetuity, meaning there's no statute of limitations here. The state will literally hold on to it forever until you or your heirs come knocking. To put this into perspective, these deposits can actually be pretty huge. Take DTE Energy, for example. For large commercial customers, they might require a deposit equal to 25% of the business's entire annual usage. That is a ton of money. And what's crazy is that these deposits actually earn a 7% annual interest rate. Even for residential customers, these deposits are accruing interest over time. So if a refund check gets mailed out but lost in the mail, all of that initial principal plus the accrued interest eventually gets escheated, which is just a fancy legal term for transferred, straight to the state. Moving right along to Section 2, Searching Michigan's Unclaimed Property. The best part about this? Searching for your unclaimed property in Michigan is completely free, and you can do the whole shebang right from your couch. Head over to unclaimedproperty.michigan.gov. The process is super straightforward. Step 1, just enter your last name or business name into the search bar. If you have a super common name, you can filter it down by throwing in your first name or the specific Michigan city you used to live in. Step 2, if you spot a property that matches your history, select it. And Step 3, hit continue to file claim to get the ball rolling. But wait, there's a fascinating little bureaucratic quirk you need to know about. When you search that online database, you are only going to see properties valued at over $50. If your forgotten utility deposit or final credit balance was, say, $49, it's totally hidden from the standard public search results. Crazy, right? So listen, if you search your name and hit a no results screen, do not assume your money is gone for good. If you happen to find and claim a visible property over $50, the state's claims staff will actually do a manual search for you and automatically attach any of those hidden under $50 properties to your claim. And if you have 0 visible properties, no worries. You can still force a manual search by just calling the Treasury directly at 517-636-5320, or you can submit what's called an unclaimed property inquiry, also known as Form 3433. All right, on to Section 3, Gathering your required documentation. So here's the catch. To claim your treasure, you've got to prove to the guards that you're the rightful owner. Because a lot of properties reported to the state decades ago didn't include a social security number or a date of birth, the state relies heavily on matching up your historical address. You absolutely have to prove that you've lived at the specific address tied to that old utility account. You can do this by digging up old utility bills from other providers, bank statements, past tax records like a W-2, or maybe an old lease agreement. Oh, and if you went paperless back in the day, try logging into your old portals to see if you can print out a historical billing statement. Next up, Section 4, handling complex claim scenarios. Look, we know life happens. People get married, loved ones pass away, businesses change hands. I'd highly recommend grabbing a quick screenshot of this matrix right here. It breaks down the exact legal documents the state needs based on who is actually filing the claim. If you're the original owner, a standard ID and proof of address will usually do the trick. But if you're claiming a deposit on behalf of a deceased relative, you're going to need to provide a death certificate, a will or trust documents, and proof that you are the legal heir. If the estate is in probate, court-issued letters of authority are mandatory. And for businesses, a corporate officer has to provide the federal employer ID number and a corporate resolution proving they actually have the authority to act for the company. Also, keep in mind that if your current legal name doesn't match the name on that old utility account, maybe because you got married or divorced, you can't just call them up and explain the mix-up. You have to physically connect the dots for the state by uploading certified legal documents, like a marriage certificate or a court order, to prove the name change. There's also a really specific rule when it comes to real estate. Let's say you just bought a house, and you discover an unclaimed utility deposit tied to that address under the previous owner's name. You can't claim that for yourself. I mean, nice try, right? But you can do a good deed. You can notify the previous owner or just pass the details along to the Michigan Department of Treasury so they can try to reunite that money with the right person. Finally, Section 5, timelines, fees, and scams. Okay, so once you actually hit submit on the website, go check your email inbox right away. Within 24 hours, you're going to get an automated message with a claim form that outlines your specific required documents. Definitely check your spam or junk folder for an email from noreply@michigan.findyourunclaimedproperty.com. You could physically mail your documents to Lansing, but honestly, the fastest and easiest way is to just upload your scanned documents directly through the secure portal link they give you in that email. After that, it's just a waiting game. Processing can take a few weeks depending on how complicated your claim is. Now, please pay close attention here because you need to protect yourself from scams. The claiming process through the state of Michigan is always, I repeat, always 100% free. You will never, ever be asked to pay a processing fee or hand over a cut of your refund to the government. There are legitimate third-party locators out there, sure, but you absolutely do not need to hire them or pay their fees to get your own money back. Just always double-check that your web browser ends in .gov before you submit any sensitive personal information. If you're sitting there skeptical about whether this is actually worth your time, just look at the numbers. The system absolutely works. In the last 5 years alone, the Michigan Department of Treasury has successfully returned over $675 million to rightful owners. Just last year, they returned $164 million. That is life-changing money going straight back into the pockets of everyday people. Just a quick disclaimer before we wrap up. While this explainer covers all the basics you need to get started, every single situation is unique. If you're dealing with a really messy estate situation, a closed business, or a complicated probate case, it is always a smart move to consult the official Treasury resources or seek professional legal guidance to make sure you're filing everything correctly. So what are you waiting for? There is literally a $2 billion treasure chest sitting out there, and some of it might literally have your name on it. Go search for your missing money today. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, make sure you hit subscribe for more money-saving tips and deep dives into reclaiming what is rightfully yours. Because think about it, if the state is holding on to your money right now, what else might you have completely forgotten about? Thanks for hanging out with me, and happy hunting.